The African elephant is the largest land animal on Earth. It weighs up to 14,000 pounds, stands 13 feet tall, and has been documented killing lions, flipping vehicles, and driving off entire prides of predators without breaking stride. In Africa, nothing hunts a healthy adult elephant. Nothing challenges one, and nothing, by any reasonable measure, should be able to make one run. But there is one creature that does exactly that, and it weighs less than a single gram.
To understand why this is so remarkable, you need to understand what an African elephant is actually capable of. Their tusks can grow over 10 feet long and are powerful enough to uproot fully grown trees. Their trunk contains over 40,000 individual muscles, more than the entire human body, and can lift objects weighing over 700 pounds. A charging elephant can reach speeds of 25 miles per hour and generates enough force on impact to flip a Land Rover. Lions, hyenas, Cape buffalo, crocodiles, every apex predator in Africa gives a healthy adult elephant a wide berth. So the idea that any creature could make an elephant turn and run seems almost impossible to believe.
The creature is the African honeybee. A single bee weighs roughly 0.1 grams. A swarm of 10,000 bees still weighs less than 2 pounds. And yet, documented research has shown that African elephants will completely change their behavior, abandon water sources they've used for years, and flee in apparent panic from the sound of bees, even a recording of bees with no actual swarm present. This isn't anecdotal. It's been studied extensively, and the findings are consistent enough that conservationists have now turned it into a practical tool.
Here's the science behind why. An elephant's skin, despite being up to an inch thick in some areas, has vulnerable points, particularly around the eyes, inside the trunk, behind the ears, and around the mouth. African honeybees are significantly more aggressive than their European counterparts and will sting repeatedly when threatened. A swarm targeting these vulnerable areas can cause genuine pain, tissue damage, and in extreme cases has been documented causing eye injuries. An elephant's trunk, which it uses for breathing, drinking, and sensing the environment, is particularly exposed, and a bee entering a trunk can cause severe distress.
But what makes this even more remarkable is the behavioral response. Researchers from the University of Oxford and the Save the Elephants organization ran a series of experiments in Kenya, playing recorded bee sounds through hidden speakers near elephant family groups. The results were striking. Elephants responded to the bee recordings by running away, shaking their heads, producing low rumbling calls that researchers identified as a specific bee alarm, a vocalization elephants use to warn other herd members about bees specifically, distinct from their other alarm calls. The elephants didn't just avoid the area, they communicated the specific threat to each other. This discovery has been put to practical, real-world use. In Kenya and other parts of sub-Saharan Africa, farmers were losing crops and sometimes their lives when elephant herds raided farms at night. Traditional methods of deterrence, fires, lights, noise, had limited effectiveness. Then researchers began testing beehive fences, actual beehives mounted on posts connected by wire around farm boundaries. When an elephant touches the wire, the connected hives are disturbed, the bees emerge, and the elephants leave. The results have been remarkable. Farm fields protected by beehive fences saw dramatic reductions in elephant crop rates compared to unprotected fields. And the system works without harming the elephants or requiring any human confrontation. The largest land animal on Earth deterred by a fence of bees.
There's also an evolutionary logic to this response. African elephants and African honeybees have shared the same landscape for millions of years. Elephants that learned to avoid bee swarms would have avoided painful eye injuries and trunk damage, injuries that could be life-threatening in the wild. Over countless generations, the response to bees became deeply ingrained. Today, researchers believe the bee alarm rumble is actually a learned, communicable behavior. Young elephants learn it from older herd members, passing the knowledge down through generations, the same way humans pass down warnings about known dangers.
So the creature that makes the strongest animal in Africa turn and run isn't a predator. It isn't bigger, stronger, or faster. It's an insect that weighs 1/10 of a gram, but one that has had millions of years to find the exact vulnerability in an animal that nothing else can touch. Which do you find more impressive? The bee for finding the elephant's weakness, or the elephant for being smart enough to respect it? Drop it in the comments and subscribe to NatureCrest for more deep dives into the animal kingdom's most extraordinary and unexpected rivalries.